What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more aha. And I wanted to start the video by giving a massive thank you to two groups of people. First, to the people who've been watching my channel for a few months now. I uploaded my first video on this channel in early May, when an old channel that I had run before that, it was just mainly about my DJ mixes. I mix techno and like acid trance and hardcore and a number of electronic styles going back to the 90s. And that old channel was basically all that. It was DJ mixes, and then right at the end I started doing reactions to electronic music like techno and again like trance and gabber and so on. And then when I came over to this channel, I started doing reactions to regular music, and there's a number of people who started following the Duran Duran reactions or the Depeche Mode reactions, Yazoo, Erasure, and so on. But a number of you commented on the first aha reaction I did, Take On Me, very positively, and they were excited that we're going to go on this musical journey now. And there were a number of people who obviously found my channel for the first time and were already giving me some great context and information and sharing their enthusiasm, and they're excited that another person is going to sort of discover the awesome material of this group. So basically, a number of you made very clear to me, whether you're people that I've known for a little while or whether you just found my channel, that this is a really great band and a band worthy of going on a detailed deep dive. So I'm very much looking forward to that, so I wanted to get right back to it. We're going to listen to the second tune on their 1985 debut album, Hunting High and Low, and the tune is Train of Thought. I didn't really do this for the first aha reaction, the Take On Me reaction, but for those who know my channel, when I've never heard a song before, or at least when I don't think I've ever heard a song before, which is to say, music from the 80s, I was born in 1980, so music from 85, it is possible that I've heard other tunes on this album, and there have been times where I've been reacting to Erasure tunes, or Eurythmics tunes, or Yazoo tunes, where these are groups that I kind of knew. Depeche Mode is a group that I found early on as a single-digit kid, fell in love with. I've been listening to them pretty much the whole time. But there are some other groups like Erasure and Yazoo that I remembered hearing some of their hits, but I didn't really know their whole catalog. And then I started doing these reactions, and there's been a few times where I'm exploring these groups' albums, and it's like, oh wait, I know this tune, I've heard this tune. So it is possible, I suppose, that there will be an aha tune along the way where it may like ring a bell or strike a distant chord, so we'll have to see. But as far as I know, I haven't heard this tune, and when I react to tunes I haven't heard before, I do just take a moment to speculate about potential themes as it relates to the title. It's a way to get my brain working, and also to perhaps be ready to pick up on lines and sort of think about them in one context or another because of what I've considered in relation to the title. Now, when I do this, of course, none of these things are authoritative or definitive. I actually haven't heard the song, but it's just, again, a way to get my brain thinking. So Train of Thought, ironically, or suitably or fittingly, relates to a cognitive process. It relates to the way in which one can arrive at a conclusion, whether that's a decision for a course of action or just an epistemological point that you come to accept some truth claim as valid, or you come to reject it as not being legitimate. But yeah, it's a process that is unfolding in one's brain. Now, usually when you say that, a train of thought, it's like a logical perspective, or it's within the lens of logic, in terms of if A, then B, and if B, then C, and if C, then I'm going to make the decision D. But it could be like, an emotional train of thought. You feel one way, which, maybe makes you look at a situation differently or in a certain light, and then perhaps over time you begin to, feel differently, and that will make you want to act in a way in accordance with that emotion. So yeah, I suppose it could manifest a few different ways, but we'll have to see. Very excited, and not only because I feel like I'm at the precipice of a very significant and steep deep dive, but also a few people mentioned, including a couple people who I have known for a few months now and who've commented on a number of reactions I've done, that a lot of their material doesn't really sound like Take On Me, that in a way their big hit is somewhat anomalous within the sonic overall catalog or discography of their work. So I'll have to see, if that's true, not only as over time and over multiple albums, but maybe even within this debut album. So no more talking, let's get to it. This is aha, Train of Thought, from their 1985 album Hunting High the atmosphere of that was definitely very different than Take On Me. And I love that. The synth bass was fantastic. There were some melodic synths, including the sort of digital pan flute or whatever that was, or whatever key kit that was. And yeah, there were some pad melodies floating on top. His voice is unbelievable. As I said, there's a lot of range there. It's like he got kind of like deep and like, for lack of a better word, soulful. I'm not sure if that's quite the right word, but it was sort of like deep and resonant, but then he'd get, again, sort of like high and soaring. So yeah, that was a fantastic tune. Very much looking forward to going through the rest of the album. If anything, or not if anything, but I do feel like mentioning a third time, the staccato rapid fire bass, in particular in those transitions to that more kind of melodic section, that was unbelievable. Like all 3 times when that rolled in, it was like it just arrested my brain, and I had to like stop what I was thinking about, stop my train of thought, and articulate exactly how brilliant that was. So yeah, once again, shout out to these guys from Norway. Little did I know, the song that I remember so vividly from my youth would only be the tip of the iceberg. It's funny, I mentioned, again, like Erasure and some other groups. I did hear them. I remembered, Who Needs Love Like That and whatever. And then I started listening to Erasure in more detail in the last few months, and it's like, oh my God, I've been sleeping on these brilliant tunes for like 35 years. And I feel like this is going to happen with this group. So once again, shout out to those of you, Philip and Han Solo in particular, and a number of others who talked about a-ha and said that this would be a good journey to take. Really appreciate the tip, and also that a number of you seem to be here for it. So yeah, do let me know what you have to say about this one. I welcome and appreciate all information. And I mentioned I reacted to Duran Duran and Depeche Mode, and what I've seen happen in those reactions is people who've loved these groups for like 40 years, another fan will give some information, provide some context, some insight, and they'll be like, oh my God, that's amazing. I love these guys. I've been listening to them forever. I never knew that. So yeah, the party's going to keep rolling on with a-ha, and I would not be surprised if we see that happen here. So shout out to everyone who likes good music and good music from the 80s. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'll see you next time.